Good morning, friends. Top of the morning to you from sunny Ireland. Not. Hey, Graham here. It is Thursday morning, doing a quick update video. Hey, in a moment I want to share some thoughts on what it is to get an inheritance word from God, how God speaks to us, and how do we actually move into the inheritance He has for us. Teaching on this all week, actually all month long, but hey, a few practicals as always. Firstly, if you're on my YouTube channel, I really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button there, give the bell symbol a long press, and share this video along or subscribe. We put this out as a daily podcast as well. Hey, I wanted to mention as well, I'm back on Twitter. I used to use Twitter years ago and I got thousands of followers on Twitter, but I stopped using it with some of the politics that were involved in it, and I am now back on Twitter. So you can find me, if you go to gjm.org, there'll be a link there to that. I'm in Northern Ireland for a week. We are doing mentoring sessions in our cottage here near Ballymena. Contact me if you're interested in coming today, Thursday, Friday and Monday of next week. And we are doing a believers conference in the city of Newry on the border between Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland. Friday 11th, Saturday 12th and Sunday morning 13th of November. And we'll also be doing a treasure hunt in Belfast tomorrow, Friday afternoon, and one in Newry on Saturday. So some dates there. Hey, I'm going to be speaking in Belfast on the Wednesday of next week and in Downpatrick on Thursday. So boom, some Irish and Northern Irish dates for you, my friends. Let's talk about inheritance for a little bit. Come on, God's got an inheritance for you, a glorious inheritance. I mean, actually, the greatest inheritance He's got is, actually, Jesus gave up everything at Calvary that we might have that thing, everything He had back. Our inheritance is Jesus. Our inheritance is Jesus' relationship with the Father. Our inheritance is everything He had, everything He gave up at Calvary. The Son of God became the Son of Man, that the sons of men might become the sons of God. And I think one of the sad things is it seems to be like there's so few people who actually step into the inheritance God has for them. And just a few thoughts today on why that is. Let me adjust something here. Sorry, it's kind of gloomy here today. And I think God takes us through a journey, a process, and it's more complicated than this, but really it kind of works out this way. God likes to give us a word. I call it an inheritance word. The Lord came to Joseph and gave Joseph this word about his future, you know, a dream, the sun and the moon bowing down to you, the stalks of corn. He came to Jesus. He gave Jesus his inheritance word. That's really what Jesus read out in Luke 4:18. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He's anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. Peter says in Acts 10, Jesus went around and published that word, how God had anointed Jesus all around Galilee. The Lord came to David and said, you'll be the next king over Israel. And God gives us, I believe, a word concerning our inheritance. He came to Abraham and he said, get out of your father's house, your land, your country, come to a land I will show you. I will make your name great. I will give you seed as the stars and the sky of the sea, sand of the sea. And yet for most of us, in between the time we get the word and the time we step into the fullness of the word, there's usually a time of testing, a time where we will be tested, a time where we've got a word from God, and frankly, it seems like that word from God isn't really happening in our experience, in our life. I believe it's Psalm 105, says that Joseph got a word from God, and then it said the word he got tested him while he was in prison, in jail. Now, I think if you're going to get a prophetic word, you should test it by the Bible. Of course, the Bible comes pre-tested. It's 7 times purified. But if you get a genuine word from God, you're going to be tested upon that word. The Father said to Jesus, you are my Son in whom I'm well pleased. The very next day, Jesus goes to the desert. What does Satan say? The Father says, you're my Son. Satan comes and says, if you're the Son of God, if you're the Son of God, if you're the Son of God. Yeah, God tells David he's going to be king, and David is tested upon whether God will bring that word to pass. And all of us are going to go through that season where we've got a word, it's not really happening in our life. And the issue, the differentiator between immaturity and maturity is what we do when we get tested. Do we give up? Do we just sit around waiting for something to happen glumly? I'm not sure that's a word. Do we kind of blame others and think like, oh, the people are holding me back, all that kind of thing? Or do we allow God to do in us that which He will in this season? The children of Israel were tested for 40 years because they never passed. Jesus was tested for 40 days, and I think God can fast track and speed us, expedite our journey through that testing. So I want to encourage you today, if you're walking through a time of testing, be of good cheer, be of good courage, hold on to that word, preach that word to yourself before you're called to preach that to others, and I promise you God will bring it to pass. Well, it's really cold here, so I'm going to go back in. I've got a mentoring session in a few moments, and I'll be back tomorrow with some more. So cheering you on as you walk with Jesus wherever you're at in the world today. I want to climb the Slemish mountain today, so